See what we got here. All right, what it do? What it do? Welcome to another one for Al Cuerpo Boxing to the Body. So let's get with it. Let's talk some boxing. It's a nice Monday, nice weather. Um, I'm actually after Chris Billam's fight with Rozicki, right? Ryan Rozicki. I think actually it's kind of put a bit of a breath of fresh air at Cruiser. All right. I mean, some fans might be divided about CBS's wins or his current resume, but I think it's actually a breath of fresh air because it's good for Zuffa Boxing. Now Zuffa Boxing has a pretty good fight in their hands, especially at the higher classes, right? So if we want to contextualize, I like that Opetaia fought, Brandon Glanton, and then we know that Chris Billum Smith fought Brandon Glanton, and now they're both with Zuffa. So now this fight makes sense, and it's a pretty good fight. I think CBS's style is a bit overrated. The guy hasn't been stopped. So should Opetaia stop CBS? Or if Opetaia can't stop CBS, that's going to open doors to more debate as like who's really the top dog at cruiserweight when you really think about it, right? Because think of the triad, guys, the triad in that we've got Benavidez now with two straps, all right? He beat Surdo Ramirez. Surdo Ramirez beat CBS, right? And of course, the guy, the supposed guy at cruiserweight, which is a big debate, is Jay Opetaia. I mean, for me, if you guys know me, I think Jay Opetaia has options at heavyweight, so he can go up in heavyweight too, man. What else should we think here? So I think, by the way, that Ryan Rozicki fight that he had with Chris Willem Smith, that was a pretty. I'm glad they stopped that in the seventh, man, because Rozicki was taking too much damage, too much firepower, and I kind of disagree with the commentators saying that he could have gone further after the seventh round. Hell no, man, taking too much damage, you guys. Those type of battles, they could be. I mean, they could be like career ending if you really think about it. So I'm glad that they did stop it. And shout out to Rozicki for being a warrior, man. Rozicki came to fight. Shout out to the Canadians, but it was CBS's night. So I mean, CBS now what? He's got the real part redemption, right, with that rematch win. He has a loss against Zurdo. He did beat Lawrence Okoli, right? He did beat Brandon Glanton. So when you really think about it, as far as cruisers, CBS is top five, man. Without a doubt, he's top five. And now that I think about it, guys, it might be that CBS did have an off night against Surdo Ramirez. There are some things that I like about CBS. I mean, given his physique, how tall he is, the way he can leap with a left hook is kind of funny, right? For cruisers, because the guy is big as hell. But I think maybe when we look at things, I think CBS, what he should not have done with Surdo was, box from the outside. Because a lot of times I mean, we did appreciate that they did have a nice jab game, right? And Surdo had a lot of success in that fight with body punching. I think it was just now that I see it, man. I think it was just the wrong game plan for CBS against Surdo Ramirez. Even though, I mean, unfortunately with me, guys, I'm biased, of course, but I was rooting for Surdo to beat CBS regardless. But you know, maybe there should be some karma on my part as far as being a fan. So here we are, guys. Here we go. Now we got Opetaia. I'm more than sure it's gonna happen. Opetaia versus CBS is gonna happen. All right. Let's call it for the Zuffa belt, and I guess open season for the Ring Magazine belt. Okay. And we'll get to Benavidez in a bit, man, because there's some things. Jose Benavidez Sr. just recently did an interview. I don't know what boxing channel it is, but he was going back and forward about the politics and whatnot. And I just don't agree with it. And I'm like thinking, do we give Benavidez team a pass? I kind of do, because right now, I think they're the yo-yo weight kings, man. The same stuff that they criticize other boxers about being yo-yo weight kings, going up and down, like from Pacquiao to Canelo. Yo, I think Benavidez is doing it now, and I kind of like that because it's consistent. The consistency moves on, guys. And of course, we got Jose Benavidez Sr. saying, well, If nobody wants to fight us, we're eventually going to go to heavyweight. Well, that's what you've been saying. You're going to go to heavyweight, and that's good. That's more opportunities for you. And we know Turkey Al Sheikh said that he's down to have Usyk versus Benavidez. I've been saying this. Now fans are catching up on that. And okay, if nobody wants to fight you, man, that's the clout chasing fight you got to go hard on. That's the money changing fight that you guys need, without a doubt. Not Opetaia, not whoever not Mokiljan, of course, not Bivol, not Beterbiev, not Canelo, of course. I mean, Canelo now, if, of all these names, Canelo was the smallest dude of all these guys up to heavyweight, right? I'm like begging fans to consider, man, weight classes. So right now, fans are now catching on that Benavidez Opetaia is a good fight, right? So compare the physiques of Usyk and Canelo. Come on, compare the physiques. Fans before were joking Usyk versus Canelo is a joke, right? Obviously, man. And here's the great part about it. Here's the great part about the clout chasing notoriety right now in the game is that Canelo Alvarez said that Usyk is the top dude at heavyweight. He said, "Yo, I like watching Usyk." Right? That's Canelo saying that. We got Benavidez before saying, "Yeah, the top dog is Usyk, pound for pound number one." Right? So everybody's is acknowledging that Usyk is the top guy at heavyweight. Right? So Benavidez family's talking about heavyweight if there's no options. They said they've got 10 years in the game. Right? Well, where else are you gonna go? You can either be the yo-yo weight king and still trying to do 175, but guys, that's gonna be hard here forward, moving forward. And last but not least, Turkey Al Sheikh wants Usyk versus Benavidez. So the Benavidez family got good options, but it's gonna be tragic or dreadful if they don't get good fights here forward, right? And let me repeat, guys, you don't. David doesn't need Bivol or Beterbiev. That's long overdue. It's the other way around, guys. The narrative is now Bivol and Beterbiev. They need David at cruiser now. So do your part, do the due diligence, rank yourself at cruiserweight already, because this is getting tiring, man. To David's credit, he did his part by beating Zurdo, and now he's ranked at cruiser. He did his part, guys. He came to fight against Zurdo Ramirez, and he won. So you can't hate on David for doing his part at cruiserweight. And as I keep saying, he's the A side at cruiserweight right now. For true Jay Opetaia fans, don't think that is a bad thing, man. You just it is what it is what it is. And so I'm also saying that Opetaia, I always contextualize guys moving up in weight. If Opetaia is that good, Gassiev moved up, Tony Bellew moved up to heavyweight to fight what's his name? David Hay twice. I mean, we get these filler fights. So it's okay, guys. Don't worry about it. Don't get stuck. Let me do a quick shout out to Tito. Tito Puente. He says is. So I guess let me talk a bit about Jose Benavides. He was saying that he got the WBC belt from Bivol, right? At the same time, David Benavides, guys, man, I don't know this inconsistency. David Benavides said, he said to the world, he said, "Who am I to intervene with the undisputed series or the rematches, right? That Bivol and Beterbiev were going to do." He said it himself. So in a way, you can say he was being respectful to that business. So what is it? Mr. Tahoe, he says, "Sorry, that wasn't supposed to happen." He said, "Me and keep Jose's name out of your mouth, buddy. I'm Jose's manager." Yeah, shout out to them. You guys know. Take notes. Take notes. If you're, hold on. If Jose's manager, I'm still, okay, so if you're Jose's manager, take notes here. What you want to do, if the manager, I don't know how much percentage you're taking, if you're taking 5 or 10%, if you're really that manager, what you want to do is take Turkey's bluff in wanting in the Usyk match. That's mega millions. This is common sense. This is mega millions. You would make a lot more with Usyk instead of McKiljan or regressing back to Bivol or Beterbiev. I mean, these negotiations ain't gonna happen. You hire me, man. Let me be a manager. You gotta hire me. I'll tell everybody what's up. Plus, I look the part too, so people will probably harp onto us more than anything. But what else? Let's keep it going. I wish I can get a live here and bring them. my boy Carl on, because I wonder what Carl's thoughts are as of late as far as Jai's position. I think you know what's funny? The broadcast in who was it? I think it was CBS versus Surdo. When Chris Billy Smith was fighting Surdo Ramirez, the zone broadcast literally said the mega fight and the mega million fight to make would be against Jay Opetaia, right? The winner of. Of course, Surdo didn't fight Jai, but now we've got CBS with Zuffa Boxing. If Zuffa Boxing is all about that money and they got backing from the Saudis, this should be another good fight for CBS and Jay Opetaia. At the very minimum, make like 10 mil, man, a piece. More. I think they deserve more. Can they make it happen? They need to make that happen. So Nick Khan and Dana White, yo, don't be cheap on them, man, because that's the problem. That's what happened with Jaya Patai and Matchroom. You know, Eddie Hearn said, "Yo, we can't make money with the tickets, the venues, and whatnot." Okay, so now that you're backed by Turkey, full stop. Who knows how you're getting your money? That better not be excuse for this, right? If you guys remember back in the day, Hearn gave like Mikey Garcia a boatload to fight. What was his name? What was that southpaw from Spain? I forgot that southpaw, that slickster southpaw. And he got beat by Teofimo Lopez. I forgot his name. But anyways, the point is that DAZN and Eddie Hearn, they were able to put up the money for that. Yo, guys, fast forward, like 5 years later, fast forward. We're 2026. The money's beautiful, baby. What's the hold? The money's beautiful. So I expect Jai and I expect Crispin Smith. And where should we stage that, guys? Should we stage CBS versus Opetaia in Riyadh, or let's make that in the UK? Because right now CBS's stock went up. He did some nice bombs on Ryan Rosicky. Man, he took some, you know. CBS's stock went up, so maybe they could do that one in the UK. I'm not sure if fans want that one. What's up? Shout out to Low Life Torta Stalker Psycho Demon. Yo, shout out to that name. You guys take notes. I'm gonna say it again. Low Life Torta Stalker Psycho Demon. Yeah, there you go. Sandor Martin. That's the guy. Shout out to that name. Yo, I think the YouTube streets have a pound for pound username. That's a new one. I've never heard that. Low Life Torta Stalker Psycho Demon. That's a good one. Shout out to the guy. Pound for pound number two, I think. Or who knows, pound for pound number one with that name. So, and shout out to Tortas. Now that we're in this, I like you guys know me, I like the Mexican business, man. Or as they say, the Mexican business. All right, the Mexican business. So right now, David, he's got some nice stock with the Mexicanism. And what's up with Andy Ruiz? Yo, how about Andy Ruiz versus David Benavidez, right? Let's assume the theory that PBC is kind of still holding out with David's consultancy, and Andy Ruiz is with the PBC consultancy. That's a good fight, guys, man. How about that? How about Andy Ruiz versus David Benavidez at heavyweight? That's a badass fight, man. Right? I mean, would it be better than Andy Ruiz versus Chris Arreola? Right? David Benavidez was huge once upon a time. So we've got heavy punching power and a guy that can go 12, Andy Ruiz, but he hasn't been active, versus a speed demon in David Benavidez. And check it out. Check it out. If they were to make that fight, Andy Ruiz would be amped up. He's going to be hyped up for that fight. He's going to come to fight. And David Benavidez is going to be amped up. He's going to come to fight. He's going to show everybody, yo, speed pays the bills, right? Before I forget, too, because I'll go to that. Low Life Tortaismo. He says, good matchup. Both the same size. Who? And I know you don't mean Andy Ruiz and David. I don't know about that. Damn, some honey's riding through, man. CBS, Chris Billum Smith recently just said that he could see David Benavidez do success at heavyweight and win on points. Damn, y'all don't even know. You gotta love women in women in legal, studying law. They be on some badass suits. All right, girls in marketing, some hot ass. Especially in the summer, man, they know how to dress up. Anyways, CBS, Chris Billum Smith said he recently had an interview. I think this is before he beat Ryan Rosicky too. Chris Billum Smith said he could see David Benavidez having success at heavyweight on points. Yo, shout out to Chris Smith, CBS. He's the only guy, and he's kind of been saying it like me, on points. What did I say about Roy Jones and John Ruiz, right? How did he win that fight? How did David Hay beat Valuev? How did Tony Bellew beat David Hay? Right now, it's funny. I have two David Hay scenarios here, but guys, they won on points, right? Footwork, movement. So a guy like Crispin Smith, who had some good fights against Lawrence Okoli, some pretty good boxing with Suda Ramirez, he just, TKO'd Ryan Rozicki. We should respect CBS's opinion in that David Benavidez could have success at heavyweight to win on points. Shout out to that, man. That's the truth right there. Kind of like the way Canelo, when he fought Golovkin in the first fight, probably not the best matchup. I think he lost that fight, but a good draw nonetheless. But Canelo was trying to win that fight on points. Terrence Crawford versus Canelo. Everybody said, nah, Terrence Crawford ain't knocking out Canelo, but he has a chance of dethrone him, right? On points. On points. And shout out to Maton, one of my subscribers. I think he's a subscriber. Maton, I call him the Matonazo. He reminded me to say this, that the aftermath of Terrence Crawford beating Canelo, right? Going up weight classes, outboxing Canelo on points. And I still think they should get a rematch, but whatever. It was a great fight. I'm happy. On points. He's going up two or three divisions, and now David Benavidez, the yo-yo weight king, is in that same position like Terrence Crawford, right? Most guys are saying, obviously, the Canelo's bigger than Terrence Crawford, more lean. So put David Benavidez versus Alexander Usyk at heavyweight, right? Same scenario, guys. Same scenario. David Benavidez has good ring IQ and a lot of experience from the ground up from as a child that he could probably do a safe points game against Alexander Usyk. I really believe so. I don't think he'll even go take a fight to Usyk because that's kind of dangerous too. But I think he would try and outbox Usyk. He'll have Usyk come to him, and I want to see that. I want to see if David Benavidez has smart enough defense and countering mobility against a guy like Alexander Usyk. Because even some guys are saying that Usyk was maybe carrying Verhoeven, but if we don't believe that, even the fight that Verhoeven had success, so I think David Benavidez could have success against Alexander Usyk here forward. So as you can see, guys, look at all this context, look at all this circumstance. I'm thinking David has really good options, man, but I just don't think he can go to 175. And it's not even so much about the weight. I think if the Benavidez family, they're giving the narrative too much credit to go back to 175. You don't want to do that, man. Hype yourself up, man. Value yourselves in that you guys are the guys now at cruiserweight and you have options at heavyweight. Why you gotta hype 175? Don't do that because it makes it seem like you're. Put it this way: the big money fights are at cruiser northbound. Tell Turkey, the Saudis like heavyweights, guys. They like big guys. That's where the money is. So to mention 175 and call out Bivol or better Biev, when you already did your part of cruiserweight, you're regressing with the value. You don't need those guys at 175. They need you. Bivol and Beterbiev, they need to see you at 175 and have them place themselves there. I like it. I'm happy right now in boxing, man. We're gonna go to Riyadh in September, man. Mexico versus the world. We got Canelo and Billy. I'm more than sure. Bongia, we got Brian Leon. Probably Marco Verde is gonna be there too. Hopefully, we can get one of the brothers, what's his name? One of the Figueroa brothers out there. Get Brandon Figueroa out there too. I'm hyped for that. It's gonna be good for boxing in September, man. Mexicanism all day. Mexico versus the world. So, speaking of which, I hope Carl's listening to this one. Another one. What Opetaia has got to do next, or maybe even Chris Bill and Smith in the Zuffa event when they make this fight. What Opetaia's got to do, like the Tyson Fury playbook, you got to come out with the Mexican outfit. Jai, if your handlers, if you guys listen, come out with the Mexican outfit. That's how you're gonna win some Mexican fans. That's how you're gonna make a statement that yo, I'm here to fight this Mexican monstro. You know, I'm happy, guys. I'm happy. Zuffa did it good with this one, signing CBS. CBS did his part. You know, I guess that's what I gotta say, man. I didn't. I'm happy where David's right now. I'm happy where CBS is right now. I'm happy where Opetaia is right now. The heavyweight division is looking good too. I don't think, for me, it's a bore fest. I don't want to see Usyk versus Cabello. I know a lot of fans are big on Cabello, but for me, that's not a really big. For me, okay, call me crazy, man. Call me crazy, but for me, David Benavidez is a harder fight for Usyk than Cabello. Yo, speed pays the bills. You know, fighting from the outside, that's going to pay the bills. So for me, that's a harder fight. So that's more of a fight to make. Turkey's a bit naive because he's going to, you know, I don't think Turkey wants really the Cabello fight, but, Turkey's respectful, so he's got to respect Cabello's game in wanting Usyk. But really, the fight that we need to see next is Usyk versus David Benavidez. That's the stepping stone fight that David needs. That David needs. And I'll say it again in the beginning of the video. I said, David Benavidez, Canelo Alvarez, they all said that Usyk is the guy. He is the guy. David walks around easily 210. He can bulk up for heavyweight. And can you imagine the magnitude if David were to beat Alexander Usyk? Can you guys imagine the magnitude, guys? He's pound for pound number 2 or 3. Put your hate to the side. I know many of you don't want David to probably do something like that, but what else is there, man? I'm like, I don't want to talk about no 175 theoretical matchups. David versus McKillian, I think that's an easy fight for David. I even said long ago that David should have petitioned for Badu Jack's WBC, right? Because he was already ranked at 175. If we want to do the politic playbook, David would have already had that shot, man. So so that's that, man. I'm already knee deep here, 20 minutes in this. It's getting hot. I'm gonna go. Damn. I'm gonna go get some lunch. And I'll catch you guys on the next one for Al Cuerpo Boxing, man. Shout out to Tito, to Mr. Tahoe. Tortas for life, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one, man. Peace. Al Cuerpo Boxing.